4 things I learned about God that every Christian really needs to know, but often we have to discover the hard way. So in retrospect, I took a look at 4 things I learned that church culture didn't really prepare me for with regard to God's character. We took a look at the fact that God is deliberately mysterious, and it can make me crazy sometimes that the great communicator doesn't seem to communicate more clearly, and yet he dares to say, "Seek me, you'll find me, if you seek me with all of your heart." What's that old quote? You'll never possess what you're unwilling to pursue. Pursuit is the proof of your desire. God wants to be wanted, pursued, and if you do, you'll find the answers. You'll find Him. And secondly, I mentioned that, God's ways are not mine, says Isaiah 55, but because His ways are higher than mine, I find His ways sometimes unpredictable on the ground level. And yet He dares to say, "You can trust me, I'm good." I guess that's called faith. Faith is confidence in a person's character, especially when it's under trial. And that results in loyalty. And that's what I want to be, is someone loyal after God. On that day I stand before Him, I want to hear Him say, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You were messy, and you didn't produce any goodness. I gave you mine and covered up your lack of it. But you did stay true. You stayed on track. In a world of defilement and distraction, you walked on with me." Because see, loyalty says, I believe my confidence in that person will one day be vindicated. That's faith, confidence in God. And then thirdly, I mentioned that, God does tend to bear responsibility for everything that happens. Remember, even Jesus on the cross is God's way of saying, I started all of this, I allowed it to go astray, and I will personally pay the price to fix it. And not just in the big general sense of humanity, but right down to your personal life and mine. I got wounded, I got ripped off, and God brought healing, and He paid me back. Walk long enough with God to give Him opportunity to write more chapters than life may have afforded you quite yet. That's why perseverance matters. Then fourthly, I testified that the biggest thing I learned about God is that He is gracious and kind to me. That's my biggest testimony of all. Not the ministry that I have around the world that I didn't earn. Not the awesome family I surely don't deserve. Not that I'm no longer a sexual slave, though I used to be. All of that's awesome and beyond what I would have ever imagined. But my biggest testimony is that God is gracious to me. He doesn't treat me like my sins deserve. King David wrote it after committing adultery and murder to cover it up. He went through the fire and God brought him through, and God did not abandon David who failed. He brought him through, who speaks to us today to encourage us to not give up on God who begins the good work. As Philippians chapter 1 says, He will bring you through, right?